I promise you, there is a reason. A reason why this is happening, why that didn't happen, why you feel this way, etc. There is a reason. That's the message from the moon on this full moon eclipse that we have happening in Pisces on September 7th, 2025. Now, when we have a full moon, it's a culmination point. But when we have a full moon eclipse, it is a big culmination point, one that can punctuate up to the next 6 months. Now, this particular full moon eclipse also has its eye on your future and your soul growth. Hi, I'm Laura Custo, the moon phase astrologer and your life strategist for rhythmic living. I'm here to help you use the lunar cycles to make sense of the world and to calm down crazy modern life and reconnect with your own inner timing. Now, I want to give a quick shout out and a welcome to all the new subscribers out there. Thank you for being here and for your support. And if you haven't yet, I want to encourage you to take advantage of my free guide. It is centered around working with the moon in the most foundational way by following its 4 major monthly phases. Now, I talk about this every week. The moon is our closest celestial neighbor and it moves the most in the sky. Now, when a planet moves, it's talking to us. So because the moon moves so much, it is saying the most to us, okay? And overall, it governs our emotions. So that means it's literally giving us emotional guidance all the time. I always say when you're not feeling great, the moon was nature's gift to you to help making sense of your emotions and finding your peace. So yes, to help you get started in building this foundational wisdom so it becomes second nature to you, I created a free guide. It's called the Moon Phase Compass, and you can download it at lauracusto.com/guide. It's totally free, and I'll put a link for that at the top of the show notes. Okay, let's get into this Pisces full moon and that message from the moon, which is, I promise you, there's a reason. So what we have going on up there in the sky at this full moon eclipse, it's an interesting lineup. Now, I mentioned full moons are culmination points and that eclipses are big culmination points. So we've got that going on. Now, what makes a full moon and eclipse is that it's close to one of the nodes of the moon, either the north node or the south node. This one is happening near the north node, and the north node represents our path of growth. So there's this eye to the future here, but specifically our future growth. Okay, so I alluded to that at the beginning. Now, another thing, this eclipse is in the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign. Now, all water signs have an element of emotion to them, but I would argue that Pisces is the most emotional. So this is very emotionally charged. Finally, I want to add to that all of the outer planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are all retrograde. Retrograde means that relative to us here on Earth, they appear to be moving backwards in the sky, backwards in terms of the direction that they traveled around the sun. So when that happens, energetically, the way it manifests for us here on Earth is that we often go back over things related to what those planets represent. So with Saturn, the things would be the structures of our lives. It would be how we spend our days, where we live, what we do, and who we surround ourselves with. These are big, major structural things in our daily lives. So we're going back and reviewing those with Saturn retrograde. Uranus retrograde. Uranus is unexpected. It's sudden. It's technology and AI. It also represents our relationship to the collective and the collective itself. So reviewing themes around those types of things. Then we have Neptune, which is our spirituality, our belief systems, and it's connecting to the divine and or disconnecting from the earthly realm. So addictions and numbing out are also manifestations of Neptunian energy, just as much as connecting to a higher power and meditation. Then we have Pluto. That's our relationships with power and control, and it's also what is hidden in the shadows, traumas, and secrets. So all of that, oh my goodness, is at play here on this full moon eclipse. It's a very big culmination point. We're going after themes around all of those things, going back over. Now, then we have the moon, and let's go back to that message. It's saying, I promise you there's a reason. Now, the title of this episode, What to Do When Bad Things Happen. It's really rooted in this idea that culmination points will result in some sort of a shift or a change, and generally, shifts and changes are not welcome events. Change is hard. It takes us out of our comfort zone and our routines, and it creates a lot of inefficiencies in life and uncertainty. As an aside, I can relate to this 100% right now. I just moved. And in the way that I moved, I had to buy a lot of new furniture, and I also moved towns. So there's been a lot of change in my life and a lot of uncertainty in my daily life and my daily routines. And also, with all of that change, and with any change, comes a lot of white space and new opportunity, if you can allow yourself to see it that way. It really is a choice. So in the last couple of months that I've been navigating my move, and the shift I have been presented with daily is, oh, I have a new destination that I need to find in this town. Or, oh, here's another new thing for this house that I need to buy. Or, oh, here's another new feature of something that I need to learn to use, whether it's the oven or the lawnmower or the washing machine, right? And I will admit, I haven't always navigated everything gracefully, but most days I have found that what I'll call clarity moment where I realize, Laura, oh, wait, I have a choice here. You always have a choice in how to respond. You don't always get to choose what happens, but you always get to choose how you respond. And so the steps to take here on this full moon eclipse in emotional Pisces, but on the north node of soul growth, what steps do you take when quote unquote bad things happen, but you want to heed the moon's message of, I promise you there's a reason. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's break it into 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to be present and we're going to go through it. All right, so we have whatever is culminating, the culmination point of the full moon, and it's happening and you're in it. You're in the thick of it. Now, the natural thing to do here is to react to it. And we don't want to bypass this. You have to have your reaction. So yes, I'm encouraging you to go through it, to feel it, to be in it. Remember, the full moon is about being present and fully experiencing life. So feel that emotion, be present, allow yourself to fully process it. Now, obviously, you want to do it safely and respectfully and within alignment of your highest good and the person that you want to be and the person that you are. This isn't a ticket to go out and do something crazy, right? You don't want to do that. But let's say you're a highly visible corporate executive and something goes down during this big meeting and you're presenting to 1,000 people. I'm not saying to have a breakdown on stage, right? I'm saying play your part, play your role, be the leader in that moment. And then when you're in private, process it. That's really important. Process the shock, the anger, the disappointment, but do it somewhere where you can let it all out. Now, I spoke about the map of consciousness a few weeks ago, and my coach who explained to me how to use it included this whole process of navigating negative emotions. It's part of life and part of the teaching in fully living the map of consciousness and trying to live at a high vibration as much as you can. So yes, you don't want to shove negative emotions down and not feel them. Emotions trapped in your body, they actually never go away. They fester and then they eventually manifest as other issues, often physical. There's a great book on this topic, actually. It's called, it's got a bit of a morbid title, but it's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And it comes with a booklet that details all the areas of the body and what emotions are tied to it. So it's a great reference. I personally pull it out all the time when I'm noticing something that I just don't really have an explanation for. Like, why does my ankle hurt today? So you can go ahead and check that out. But yes, step 1, process the emotions. Go all in on whatever it is that you're feeling, being present, throughout this full moon eclipse. Remember, Pisces, full of emotion. So let's go through it. Let's get it out. All right. Then step 2, we're going to pause and center into the present moment. Now, this step involves not only centering into the present, but it also involves processing what brought you to this present moment. Once you have processed a powerful emotion, to center, I like to do a couple things. First, I find a quiet moment and I just breathe in and out a few times. I close my eyes and I focus on my heart, and I remind myself that all the answers I need are within me, because I come from source and source is within me. When we find ourselves in this unknown place of change, it can feel incredibly unstable. It can often leave us feeling like there's nothing familiar to hold on to, or we're just sort of floating into an endless abyss. But we're not. First, I would like to remind you, and I remind myself of this often too, is that familiar is just that. It is familiar. It doesn't necessarily equate to good or healthy. But there is one thing that is good and is healthy, and it will always be there for you, and is the safety we all find with the familiar within each of us. And that is the familiar that will never abandon you, because it is you. So that's the first part of this step. But the more you anchor yourself to that strength and source energy within you, the stronger that feeling will get over time. Then the second part to this second step is to anchor to the path that brought you to this present moment. And so, again, I talk about cyclical living here. The moon works in cycles and the patterns unfold over time. And this full moon eclipse is at 15 degrees Pisces. So what we do is we look back in time and we find the last time we had a new moon at 15 degrees Pisces and a first quarter at 15 degrees of Pisces. And these moon cycles, if you've been following me for a while, you know they're all 9 months apart. It's called the lunar gestation cycle. It's one of those super cool, but not often talked about natural phenomenon in nature. And that's a big part of what I work with in all of the different offerings that I have, is working with these 9-month cycles consciously, right? So the new moon that brought us to this Pisces full moon eclipse that we're having on September 7th, 2025, it was 18 months ago. It was on March 10th, 2024. So that's when this story began. On a new moon, you will get quiet, you will set intentions. The question that the moon is always asking at the new moon is, tell me what you want. Tell me. So we dream into that, we journal, we set intentions, right? We also do it energetically with our self-talk and our attitudes. So you want to check those too. Then the next date is going to be 9 months ago in the past, or 9 months forward from that new moon, which lands on December 8th, 2024. That was the first quarter at about 15 degrees Pisces. And on that week, December 8th, you want to look at actions that you took. How did you interact with the external world? If the new moon is the moon saying, tell me what you want, the first quarter is show me. Get out there, do something, interact with the world, show me what you want. So this is an appointment that you made, a meeting that you had, again, something that you did interacting with the world, not just in your own internal brain. It could have been even an app that you downloaded and started using, for example. But what did you do? Now, there's always another clue that can help you, which is to look into the area of life that Pisces oversees for you, right? So you're looking at your life in general for the past 18 months and that specific date of the new moon and the first quarter, but you're looking at your whole life. But the truth is that Pisces oversees one of the specific 12 areas of life in your astrology chart. So if you know that, go take a look. Does it oversee your money and your finances? Does it oversee your career, your love life, etc.? And if you don't know, I have 2 ways that I can help you with that. One is a short course that I have called Moon Map. And what it does is it takes you through a process to literally find what I call your map that you can then use on every single moon phase for the rest of your life. So you'll always know what area of life the moon is activating, whether it's in Pisces or Taurus or Aquarius or any of the 12 zodiac signs. And then the second way that I can help you find this is through my membership called Moon Chat. Now, Moon Chat literally spoon feeds you everything that you need on the moon phase. You'll get an email 2 days before every single moon phase. It'll tell you where it is in the zodiac, and it'll also tell you the area of life being activated. You'll get the dates that you'll need to look at, and you'll get some personalized guidance based on the flavor of that particular moon, right? Like, for example, this is a full moon eclipse in Pisces. My Moon Chat members are going to get some good flavor related to what I'm talking about in this video. So I'll put a link for those at the top of the show notes as well, Moon Map and Moon Chat, and check them out if it speaks to you. Okay, step 3. We have now processed the emotion and gone through it. And we've done step 2, where we find our center and look to the past for clues about how this story has unfolded over time, and hopefully our role in also co-creating it, because we are always co-creating our reality, whether we want to admit it or not. But this last step is one where we're going to start to move towards that reason, right? The moon's message was, I promise you there is a reason. Now, usually the reason is so that your soul can grow, but especially on a full moon eclipse on the North Node, and the North Node is the path of soul growth, the purpose right now definitely is soul growth. So the choice is yours here. Will you rise to the occasion? Will you be willing to step out of your comfort zone just one more time? You stepped into the abyss and found your center, and you found that calm place within yourself. I will say that this last part is not as much of a step outside of your comfort zone as that first part there. So in fact, it's really just building upon that safe center, that safe space of peace and calm that you just found within you. So this last step starts with asking, what if? What if this could be a good thing? What if I don't let this take me down like all the other times I've let something else like this take me down? What if I choose differently? What if I allow myself to just get a little curious? So back to that map of consciousness that I spoke of. If you look at the map, and you can Google it, right? Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins, and you place yourself on one of those emotions that is likely to be what you're going to be navigating in step 1, something like anger or fear, let's say. Well, again, I like to look at this objectively, right? And you get to step 3 here, and you can kind of do that, right? You've processed the emotion. It's not as emotionally charged. You're like, oh, I was really angry and I was really fearful. Well, what does that equate to in terms of my view of life? Well, it equates to a view of life being antagonistic if you're feeling anger, or the world is a frightening place if your emotion was fear. So these are the places that we visit when we process emotions, and it's important for us to visit them so we do fully process the emotion, right? We don't want to keep it trapped in our body. But because we're always co-creating with the universe, the energies that we choose to be in the majority of the time are really, really important. Not just for our lives, but for the entire world. Our vibration impacts everyone around you. So we want to process it, but we don't want to stay there. So here in the 3rd step, we allow ourselves to ask those big what if questions, and we entertain things like, is there a lesson here? Or what meaning can I pull from this? How can I grow from this? How can I teach my kids from this? And when we find that meaning in it, that gets us to a much higher vibration, which is that of understanding. And if you look at the map of consciousness, understanding is just shy of the vibration of love. And I have found that the more that you accept that meaning in everything that happens in your life, and you see the meaning in everything that happens in your life, well, you actually do start to love your life, and you spend more time living in love. Which, back to the eclipse that we're having here on the North Node, that North Node all about soul growth. Well, our souls come from love, and they want to live in love. So no matter what happens, no matter who is in your life or where you live or what you do as a result of whatever culmination is happening and whatever changes that happen, if you can find love in your soul and live most of your days in the vibration of love, that's a life well lived, and you will only attract more of the same. Now, it is a process for sure, and the ups and the downs definitely don't make it easy. But I hope that this has helped, and it's given you some steps to follow in navigating it. And even more so, it is my hope that these steps feel doable realistic, and like you can authentically make them your own for your situation. So, to recap, what to do when quote unquote bad things happen, and how to find the reason that the moon promises you is there. Step 1, process the emotion, go through it. Step 2, we're going to find our center, we're going to breathe and get familiar with that safe source space within us. Start to find the story too with those dates that I gave you. March 10th, 2024, the new moon when the story started, as well as December 8th, 2024, which is when you would have taken some action. And then finally, step 3, we're going to find that new frequency. We're going to find the meaning, get curious, find the understanding, and not let this define us and bring us down, but help raise you up and enrich your life. All right. That's a wrap on this Pisces full moon eclipse. And now that you've gotten the moon's message, I would love to hear from you. What are you noticing? What's your story here that's unfolding? And what is your path of soul growth? Drop it in the comments below. Happy full moon eclipse. I wish you lots of grace and positive light as you navigate what is coming your way. Remember, go through it, take your time, and go at your own pace. But back to the fundamentals of all full moons. Stay present, participate, and trust that your soul needs what is happening. And until next week, take care.